We had a debate last week, where are the great leaders now? Well, the Conservative Party in Britain got smashed at the last election for being Labour light. Where have we heard that before? And it's now looking for a new leader. Some of the candidates there have learned the lessons. In fact, one, Kemi Badenoch, spoke so much sense that she shocked a BBC reporter, which led to the wonderful sight that will so throw the left, a black woman having to coach a white journalist on taking pride in British culture.
You write that we cannot assume that all cultures are equally valid. So which cultures, in your view, are less valid than others?
Oh, lots. Cultures that believe in child marriage, for instance, or that women don't have equal rights. I actually think it's extraordinary that people think that's an unusual or controversial thing to say. Of course, not all cultures are equally valid. I don't believe in cultural relativism. I believe in Western values, the principles which have made this country great. And I think that we need to make sure that we continue to abide by those principles to keep the society that we have now.
Joining me from London is writer, broadcaster, columnist Esther Krakue. Esther, lovely to see you. First, tell us about Kemi Badenoch. Is she really the real deal?
She seems like it. She seems to have had a couple of hiccups with the media, particularly on her comments on maternity pay, which I do think, in her defense, has been twisted by the media. She was talking about, obviously, issues with kind of over-regulating businesses when it comes to maternity pay. There is sort of a balance to be struck there. But she really has made headwaves in this race because she's really resonating with the Tory base. It really looks like it's going to come down to her and Robert Jenrick, who, if anyone knows, was always running kind of in the centre of the Tory party, but now has kind of posited himself as a centre-right, almost like reformish candidate, talking about leaving the ECHR. It's been quite amusing to watch Kemi for many reasons, mainly because she kind of seems to be like the BBC's worst nightmare. The fact that she had to make the obvious statement that no cultures are valid or equal. And obviously that informs her approach to immigration as well, because she says we should be having people coming to this country that can actually integrate and adopt British values. These are the kinds of things that drive the media absolutely up a wall. She has had some hiccups. I think there is a bit of polish that needs to come from her end, particularly from her team. But you can see the reason why she's making headways in this race. The question is, will she be enough to resurrect the Tory party? I think most of the country will need years to forget the last 14 years of Tory leadership. All eyes really are now on reform. They're the real threats, particularly to Labour. They came second to Labour in almost 100 seats. The Tories weren't even anywhere near close to that. They're only 3 points behind the Tories at the moment. They seem to be the real threat because there's a real gap for some actual change. The Labour Party and the Tory Party at the moment are kind of equally despised, particularly given Keir Starmer's sort of freebie scandal and the fact that he really seems like the hypocrite of the year.
$60,000 of free clothes he accepted. You wonder what he must be wearing, pants with diamond zips and gold buttons, I don't know. But why is it that a black woman can voice more pride in British culture and put up a better defence than a white BBC journalist who seems stricken by racial guilt?
Because it's a mentality of the metropolitan elite, and if we look at Kemi Badenoch's background, she's Nigerian. She comes from a socially conservative family. I have a similar background. I'm Ghanaian. I come from a socially conservative background. For people like us, it's easier for us to say, actually, we want Britain to retain the values that made it so great, because there's a reason why our parents chose to come here. If we wanted to stay in the cultures that we were raised in, we would have done that. If we wanted to stay in the countries that we came from, we would have done that.